Today we're going to configure our networking for our virtual environment. So first thing you need to do is open up VMware Workstation and then, as you can see, edit Virtual Network Editor. We're going to want a NATed network so that our VMs will be able to reach the internet. VMware Workstation should have it configured by default. I did a reinstall here, so hopefully it'll be listed. If it isn't, well, we can go from scratch as well. So the default it has here is the VMnet 0, which is bridged. We don't want to use bridged. So add network, and we'll add VMnet 8. We're choosing VMnet 8 arbitrarily. This is what VMware Workstation has by default, but you could choose any other VMnet other than the ones that are already taken. Okay, so VMnet 8. So as you can see, by default, it's set to host only. We're going to switch it to NAT and then configure the NAT settings. Oh, sorry. First of all, we need to change the subnet IP and subnet mask. Otherwise, changing the NAT won't work properly. So our address space will be 10.10.0.0. and it's a /16 address, so it'll be 255.255.0.0. So it'll have 2 to the power of 16 addresses available, which is way more than we need, but simplifies things. We wanted to connect a host virtual adapter to the network so that our host computer will be able to connect to and communicate with the client computers. And we'll set up a local DHCP service as well. So let's configure the NAT settings. So as you can see, the subnet IP here is 10.10.0.0 and the subnet mask is correct. But the gateway IP is from the previous default settings. That will not work because, remember, in order for a default gateway to function, it has to be in an actual host address on that network. So we're going to change it to 10.10.1.250, and yeah, that's DNS settings. We'll leave it by default. What that will configure is that the 10.10.1.250 address will also function as a DNS forwarder, which will allow, like when we set up a DNS, well, I'll explain it later, but for now, leave the DNS settings, don't even touch them. Leave the NetBIOS settings, we don't want to play with those. Just make sure the gateway IP is set to 10.10.1.250 and keep track of that address. Okay. Next, we'll check the DHCP settings. So as you can see, these will not work either. It'll give out IP addresses to computers requesting IP addresses, but the addresses will not be in our network, so they won't function. So let's instead do that 10.10.128, well, 128.0, and go to 10.10.255.254. We could say .255, but that is a broadcast address, so no point doing it, and we have plenty of addresses. Okay, apply. Wait for it to finish configuring. It will work someday, I assure you. I might just put in the Benny Hill theme over top of that later, we'll see. Alright, so it's configured, we can hit OK. So now the virtual network settings have been configured, and we can look into creating our next host, which will be in the next video. So, see you guys. Take care.